Tickles and Stormy's birthday is today, and I wanted to take the time to make a video in honor of Stormy. On July 21st, Stormy passed away. She had cancer, and we only really found out about a week before she passed away. She had a very aggressive form of cancer. She had a tumor on her hind leg and led to her losing a lot of weight, so she really wasn't able to move, and a lot of the time was just resting throughout the day. When we got the diagnosis, we didn't really have many options. We considered amputation, but knowing family friends whose cats had passed away very shortly after amputation, and also keeping in mind that at this point the cancer had likely also spread somewhere else, we decided not to take the risk. So the vet prescribed Stormy some pain medication, and we just made sure to constantly look after her and make sure that she had everything that she needed. The day before she passed, we had a nice get-together with our family. My grandparents came over and they got to see Stormy, and that night I made sure to spend some extra time with her to say goodnight, and the next morning she spent the day with my mom in her bed and was even purring and enjoying some pets. But by that afternoon, not long after she had her pain medicine, her body started to relax itself, and you could tell that she was starting to go. My mom took her outside, and she had a nice view of the backyard and was surrounded by our family as we said goodbye. I wanted to say to anyone watching this video who has a pet in their life, I encourage you to spend time with them and really cherish them. You never really know how much time you have left with them, and you're always going to wish that you had that one extra day. So make sure that you can take it while you still can. One thing I'd also really encourage is to take pictures and videos. Having those extra little memories with you that you otherwise might forget can go a long way when you're mourning a loved one. It all happens very fast. By the time we got the diagnosis, I knew there wasn't going to be much time left. I think having the diagnosis certainly helped, though. During the last week, it really gave me time to come to terms with what was happening and start the grieving process ahead of time instead of it completely blindsiding me. 5 years ago, I lost my dog Sophie, and that was really hard because it was my first time really experiencing loss, and I definitely wasn't ready for her to be put down, even though I knew she was in pain. I learned a lot from that, though, and that's when I really started to take more pictures of Tickles and Stormy, because before Sophie passed, I barely had any pictures on my phone at all. Losing one pet certainly doesn't make losing the next one easier, but it can help you learn how to cope and sort of soothe your emotions that you're feeling while you're grieving. I made sure to spend a lot of time with Stormy in that last week. Every time I'd pass by the room she was in, I'd stop by to check on her and give her some pets. Those last couple of days, too, I would go in every night and say goodnight and almost be preparing myself to say goodbye. I'd tell myself, you could go to bed tonight and wake up and she could be gone tomorrow. And I think on the day before she passed, when we had that nice day with our family and she was hanging out in the living room, I kind of felt like that was spiritually gonna be her last day. It was like a celebration of life party while she was still there. Going into that next day, I felt like I was a little more prepared because I knew it was time. Of course, there was a lot of different emotions going on between everyone at the time, but I honestly feel like when we were all there and she was being held in my mom's arms outside where she always liked to explore and be nosy, that it was probably the best way that it could have gone. And afterwards, me and my mom took her to the vet to be cremated, and I made sure to pick out a nice urn for her and thought it matched her well, and that was when we said goodbye. I wanted to make this video for a couple of different reasons. The first one, of course, was to honor Stormy and show my appreciation for her, but I also wanted it to sort of serve as a moment where I could share my experience with what it's like to lose someone you love. I think some of the things I shared in this video are things I would have liked to have heard and really understood when I was younger and growing up with my pets, so hopefully somebody watching this video is able to connect with that and get something out of it. Also, if anyone has any questions or stories that they want to share, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll make sure to read all of them and respond to them. But now, to Stormy, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being one of the best pets that a family could ask for, always being such a sweet cat and asking for nothing but attention and pets in return. always being there for people when they're upset. You know, she would always do this funny thing where if somebody was crying or frustrated, she would know to find them and she'd meow at them, which gives you this brief moment where your guard sort of breaks and can't help but laugh. We always joked about her being nosy, and she always managed to make her way around when 2 or more of her favorite people were in the same place for a while. She always loved face rubs or even just having an object to rub her face on. She also loved butt pats and do that elevator butt thing that cats do. She wasn't really a scaredy cat, but she definitely preferred the quiet and loved to go under my bed or find ways into boxes or under tables or behind the couch. She was technically my sister's cat, just like how Tickles is technically mine, but she meant a lot to this whole family. She really was a true part of this family, and growing up right alongside her, you really develop such a strong bond, almost like a sibling or child that I think a lot of pet owners can attest to. You know, I'm sure she's up there in pet heaven with Sophie and her brother Twister, who a close family friend of ours looked after and gave a great life to as well. It's hard to let go of someone so special, but I'm just very grateful for the time that I had with you. You were such a bright light in our lives. Everyone who met you always thought you were such a great cat, and I promise that I'll never forget you. Happy birthday, Stormy. I love you.